great. All right, so today I'm making Iro and Buba right now. And here's the fabric which we are going to be using to make this Iro and Buba. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some very important tips that you should know when you are making Iro and Buba. Okay, so let's quickly drop a question right here for everyone that's joined so that I would really like to know when was the last time you made Iro and Buba or blouse and wrapper. Okay, just recently or never made one before. Okay, so let's start that poll. So when you join in and you see the question, please respond. You can also comment and then you can also ask your question as well. All right, so when you are making Iro and Buba, there are some things that you should actually have in mind so that you can have it easy, especially if you are just starting, if you're a beginner, right? So now the first thing you want to do when your clients bring the fabric or when you have your fabric is to first of all you check you check how much fabric do you have to work with. And also don't forget that in measuring you have to measure by 35 inches, which makes a yard. Okay, so we have in this fabric, we have 35 inches and like um we have 4 yards and like 3 inches. That's what we have here in this fabric. So that is like the very important thing when your client is bringing a fabric that they want to make you rambuba. First thing, you must make sure that you have at least 4 yards. And when you have at least 4 yards, make sure that the person you are sewing for is not a plus size. Anything more than a size 14 person, okay, which simply means by for size 14 I mean, okay, the person's bust is around 30 38 40, okay, you cannot use less than 4 yards. All right. And also when you have 4 yards, make sure that the person does not want a length or does not need a length that will be more than like this short sleeve. Okay, so for those that are not familiar, this Iro and Buba is like a traditional wear that is common with African women. It's just like a wrapper, a blouse and a wrapper on top of it. So when you have this, you must know that when the person you are making it for is way bigger, maybe a size 16, a size 18, you can't use less than 5 yards. So make sure that you have 5 yards when you are making such. And also you also bear in mind some of your calculations and the dimension of fabric that you need. before you go into like making it. Okay, so you need the measurement of the body, you need the measurement of the sleeve. Although you know that in measuring for Iro and Buba, the sleeve is usually measured from the center back. So from your center back, just like this, down. That is how you measure for the sleeve for your Iro and Buba. Okay, and also you need the length of the Buba. Most of the time when you are working with a lace usually come in like length 50 to 55. Okay, so when you fold the lace into two just like this, when you fold it into two just like this, bring the two selvedge together. All right, you should have something around length 26 or thereabout, and then an average length is usually like 26. But for somebody that is like very petite, okay, so this is not even up to 27. But for somebody that is very petite, you can have it shorter, but usually it's usually around this. Just use the entire length of this for the buba length. All right, so please bear in mind that measurement for buba and measurement for blouse is different. For a blouse now, you could be making use of maybe a bustier blouse, a peplum blouse, any other blouse. You will use your knowledge of how to draft or how to sew that type of blouse to make the blouse, not this buba that I'm talking about. This buba I'm talking about, it does not have any joining on the shoulder seam. There is no shoulder slope. So you don't have anything to do around the shoulder area. All right. I believe you understand. Okay. So the next thing that you are going to do now is to take measurement of what you need. I think this side sparkles more. All right. So now to the wrapper. A wrapper is usually like for somebody that is not too big, you can use 2 yards and 10 inches downwards. Okay, but for somebody that is bigger, somebody of a size 16, or somebody of maybe you are looking at the person's hip and the person's hip is around 48 and above, then you use 2 yards and 15. When the person's hip is around 60 and above, then you need to use maybe like 3 yards, depending on how much fabric the client herself has. Okay, excuse me. So the first thing you want to do is consider your fabric dimension. And let me get my fabric dimension so that I'm sure of what I am saying. All right. So for the fabric dimension now, you need for your fabric dimension now, you need okay, let me know where you are joining me from. Aside engaging in the pool, let me know when was the last time you made Iro and Buba or wrapper and blouse. And let me also know where you are joining me from in this live stream. This evening is about evening in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, so you will need your wrapper length. Aside your wrapper length, you need the length of the buba, which is the round circumference of your body. Okay, so for this client that I'm working with, the circumference of how loose she wants the buba to fit is 46 inches. Okay, so if we have 46 inches this way, if this is what we have as 46 inches, it definitely means that 46 divided by 2 is 23. So we need a length of 23 inches aside the 2 yards and 10 inches that we need for the wrapper. All right. The reason why you need to consider all of this is because this is a lace fabric, and for all of the ends you need the selvage. You need the selvage for the end of the sleeve. You need the self edge for the end of the blouse. For those that do not understand, the self edge I'm talking about is the etiaje, the finishing, this end, the end of your fabric is very important. So it is very important. Hi Jasmine, I'm glad you are here. Thanks for joining me. So it's very important. So we need our 2 yards and 10 inches. We need our 46 divided by 2, that's 23. You are going to make sure you add your seam allowance, which is 1 inch, that is 24 inches. Okay, and then you will also need the bicep of the sleeve. Okay, for my client here, she wants us to be 19 inches. 19 inches divided by 2, that is going to give us 9.5. Okay, so we need 2 yards and 10 inches. We also need 24 inches, and we also need 10 inches for the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I can get all of this in this fabric. It is important that you take note of all these dimensions, and if you can take note of all these dimensions, you are not going to have any issue making your wrapper and buba. You are not going to have any issue. So first thing, I come and I measure my 2 yards. I'm going to first of all measure to see that I can get that before I cut, because you know that in sewing, once you cut, it means you are done, and you can't make mistake cutting fabric anyhow. All right, so it's important that I measure. Let me be sure that I have enough. If I don't have enough, then I have to think of what do I need to do so that I can get what I need. All right, before I now go ahead to cut. So I have 1 yard already, so now I have two, and then I have my 10 inches. Okay, so I have 2 yards and 10 inches. The next thing I'm measuring is 24 inches. So I have my 24 inches. And now I need to confirm that I still have 10. So obviously now we have all that we need. So now we can now go ahead to cut. So we have 20 here, which is going to be um 10 inches for each sleeve alongside the seam allowance. So now first, don't forget, the first thing we measured was the wrapper length, 1 yard and 2 yards and then 10 inches. All right, so now the next thing we are measuring is 24, which is the body of the buba, or the circumference of the largest area, whether it's the bust or it's the hip, that is the larger area of the body. Okay, so ensure that whatever measurement you have taken, you are taking it on the largest part of the body, the largest part of the body. Okay, so 24 times 2, right? and that's 48. And then we check what is left. So what is left will still give us the dimension we need for the sleeve. So we are good to go. So this 4 yards now will do the Iro and Buba perfectly. The fabric dimension, like I said earlier, is really important if you will not get yourself in trouble when you are making Iro and Buba, because this type of dress or outfit is not something that you can just cut from anywhere. You can't cut it from anywhere. Whatever you are cutting, you have to cut it alongside with the serve edge, so you can't afford to make any mistake. Okay, so now I can cut out. So the first thing I'm going to cut now is to cut the 2 yards and 10 inches. Okay, so this is the point. Then let's cut that out. Make sure that you're cutting this as straight as it can possibly be so that you do not waste the fabric. Okay, so this is our 2 yards and 10 inches. So you can see that it can go round. It can go around the body. Can you see? So this will go around the body. So if it doesn't really go around the body of your client, all you need to do is add some ribbon to the end. Just add some ribbon to make some rope at the end so that it can grip, and then your client can actually use it to tie around their body. So I'm going to put this aside. So the only thing that you're going to be doing to this is to make sure that you hem it nicely. Okay, you hem it twice, half inch. I intend to use half inch and 1.5 or 2 inches depending for this line. So you're going to hem it and then sew it like this nicely. So let's just keep this aside while we cut the rest. So this is the wrapper now. Let us keep this aside. Then the next thing we are cutting now is the body. So the body going round now is by, okay, we fold it this way, right? We fold it twice. You fold it twice. Then you go ahead to fold it twice again this way. Can you see? So by the time you are done, you should have 4 folds around here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I'm going to take you to the table now so that it can be very clear on how we are going to be folding it. Okay. So let's go to the cutting table. So you can see, bring both self edge together. Okay, so this is both self edge together like this. Okay, the fabric becomes half like this, and then you go ahead to bring this again. So you are folding it into four just like this. Dressmakers and friends, please, if you can hear me, can you hit the like button? I just want to be sure we can all hear me. Please hit the like button so I'm sure we can all hear me and we can all see me clearly. All right, so I think it's better this way. So now I folded this into four now. So now we are cutting the buba. The buba is what we are cutting. So once you have folded this into four just like this, the only thing you want to do is to just remove the neckline from this. Just remove the neckline. Like we all know, Iro and Buba is not something so complex to actually cut and sew. It's just that you need to understand how to go about the cutting and how to go about the sewing so that you do not run into any kind of problem or any kind of shortage of fabric because you did not cut it properly. Because you know that this outfit is something that takes the volume. It takes the volume of it takes the volume of fabric. It's not like any other outfits where you cut small small pattern. Okay, this one takes volume, so if you mess with the fabric you may end up wasting the fabric, losing the fabric, and your clients will not want to hear that something happened along the line and that's why you could not actually deliver with the dress as promised. Okay, so hit on that thumbs up button. Let me be sure that you can all hear me and then you can all see me. And also, if you are just joining us, welcome. This channel is all about sewing and fabric embellishment. So if you are all about sewing or you love sewing, this channel is for you. If you love embroidery, embellishments, fabric beading and all of that, then this channel is for you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel before you go, and also check out some really helpful videos. You can check out the playlist. There's a lot of helpful videos here for you. Okay, so now let's get back to our Iro and Buba sewing. All right, so the body circumference that we are working with is 46. 46 is when you divide 46 by 4, that's 23 divided by 2 will give us 20. Let me be sure. 46 divided by 2, that's definitely 23. 23 divided by 2, that's definitely 11.5. Okay, so I'm going to mark this 11.5 and I'm going to be adding 1 inch ease because this measurement was actually taken by I was not, it was a virtual measurement. Okay, so just add 1 inch ease just in case, just in case. So I'm going to be making this 11.5 now plus 1, that's 12.5, and then 12.5 now we will now be adding the half inch, which is the seam allowance. So what I have folded here is still way too much. I'm going to just Let me bring the camera down a bit so it captures that. Okay, yes, I think it's better now. Okay, so we need 12.5 plus 1, and that makes 13 inches. 12.5 plus half, I mean, that's 13 inches. And folding the fabric into two, we have already discussed that now we have 26 inches, and the client is just perfect for the length that the client wants. Please give this video a thumbs up just so it can reach the people that actually would like to see this as well. Before you go, please give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Okay, so we need 13 inches here. So I'm marking the 13 inches now, and then I come here to the M and I mark the same 13 inches. So now we cut this out right here, and then also we remove the neck from here. So the neck, our neckline will be between 3.5 to 4.5, depending on how big the person that you are making this for is. If you are of a small size, or the person is of a small size, okay, so you do well to use 3.5. If the person is very petite, slim and slender, you can go ahead to use 3.25 by 3.25. But if you are working with somebody that is a very big, like the XX size, you can do 4.5 by 4.5 inches for the neck. So, and that will take care of your neck width and your neck depth. So right here now, I'm going to be imputing my neck width and neck depth. Right here is my shoulder line. Remember I said we are not going to be having any form of shoulder slope on this. You just need to take out the neck width and the neck depth, and then you are good to go. All right, so around this area now, I'm going to be notching my sleeve, the length of the sleeve, the bicep of the sleeve, which is going to be 10 inches. So I come here and I mark and notch the 10 inches. So I notch the 10 inches this way, okay, and then I also notch this point, so that when I'm adding the sleeve, all of these notch points must meet. All right, now so let's take out our neck. So I'm going to be doing 3.75 by 3.75. So by the time I'm done sewing, I'm going to have 4.25, because Client is not so big. You don't want the neck to be too wide. So I'm just going to cut this out just as seen. All right, now before you take this off, what you have here, by the time you are done, you would have 13 inches. Okay, by the time you take out all your seam allowance, you have 13 inches. Now, the sleeve, remember I told you that in measuring the sleeve for buba, you have to take the measurement from your center back all the way. Okay, the desired sleeve length now is 21 inches. Okay, so now you have to take out 21 inches minus 13 inches, and 21 minus 13, that should give us 8. Yes, 20 minus 12 is 8, so 21 minus 13, that's 8, which simply means that on the sleeve now you have to add 8 inches of sleeve to this. Okay, okay, so don't forget to notch this point on the shoulder where all four meet, and also don't forget to notch the bicep of the sleeve from the side right here. So this is going to be the side of the buba. Okay, so by the time I open it up, I should have something that looks just like this. Okay, so the neck is going to be somewhere around here. Okay, so what we have now, we have the wrapper, and then we have this body. The next thing we need now is the sleeve. All right, so to cut the sleeve now, we are going to cut two sleeves. So we need, as this is on fold, we need to have two of it. Okay, it has to be on fold, just like we know that even when we are cutting our other sleeve as well, our sleeve must be on fold, the center line must be on fold. In the same way, this has to be on fold as well.